Hey guys, welcome to Vizlib Appy Hour. Joe, our producer, is not here today, so um, we'll have to kind of wing all of the background music and whatnot. But yes, welcome to Appy Hour. I'm Jane. I'm here with Emily and Cody. They're on the Industry Solutions team, and yeah, we're here to help you make data more relatable. So crack open a drink. It is Appy Hour, and let's get on with it. What are you guys having today?
Go ahead, Em.
I have a polar seltzer with me today.
What flavor is that?
This is grapefruit.
Ooh.
Yum.
Yeah. Fun
It's
fact, polar is from Worcester, Mass, where I went to college.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That actually makes sense because I used to live in Massachusetts, and there's a lot of polar. Polar
Oh.
definitely saturated the seltzer water in grocery
Yes.
stores. What
Every
about
time
you?
you drive on the highway, you can see like the bear on top of their roof.
Oh, really? I haven't driven around there, but good to know.
Next time.
What are you having, Cody?
I'm simple today. I just have black coffee. There's nothing special. No polar. I don't know where this wasn't from Mass, Emily. So I don't know where my coffee is from.
Ooh, I can't drink coffee past like 9 a.m. because I just won't sleep. Yeah, I'm one of those. If I do ever have coffee, it will always be decaf, and it's just because everyone's having coffee. I'll be like, okay, I'll have a little bit, but yeah, not a big coffee drinker.
So Jane, not to put her on the spot, but first appearance, first Appy Hour for Emily. Do we want to do a quick intro to all the Appy Hour fans out there?
Oh yes, Emily's our new joiner. She is our new industry solution team member. We're excited to have her. Emily, would you like to tell us a little bit more about you?
Sure. I guess I could start with I went to college in Worcester, Mass. So, yeah, I went to Worcester Polytechnic Institute. I'm actually a chemical engineer, but I really early in my career got into data. So excited to be with Vizlib and working on just telling lots of great stories with data.
Yes, and we're super excited to have you. Stay tuned. We do have some good things in store with Emily. So, yeah,
Thanks.
stay tuned. I'm having kombucha. I think people know, people who are, longtime fans of Appy Hour know I'm a big kombucha person. Today it's super berry. It's very good. I highly recommend kombucha to everyone who's never tried it. It's like pretty tart. It's like a tart seltzer water, I'd almost say.
I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do like my seltzer.
Yeah, what do we have? What are we doing today, guys? What is our topic?
Cody, why don't you kick us off?
I'll kick it off. That was a nice pun. Yeah, so to kick this off, we are be doing some fantasy football data. Fantasy football, NFL seasons just started last Thursday officially. So fantasy football, really big into the swing of things now. So we have a pretty good data set size of fantasy football data. I think there's we'll go over it more in a second, but teams, weeks, points, yardage, positions, all that good stuff. So Jane's been beating Emily and I for weeks now, fantasy football. So we need to build an app to help us out a little bit here.
Guys, I don't know why I'm so good at fantasy football. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's just a natural talent that I have. Yeah,
You're
and
one of those people that picks based off of the color, aren't you?
yeah, all of
jersey.
the jersey colors.
Yeah.
That I know so well. I know Ravens are purple. I'd probably just pick all Ravens because that's my favorite color. Purple.
You wouldn't do too bad, but
that's why I'm beating all of you guys. Yeah, it's on your screen, Emily. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. Okay, here is a table that we have.
Awesome. This is our data set. So we've got our teams, players, positions, their opponent. We got some stats on their passing if they're a quarterback, rushing yards, touchdowns, receptions. Let's see what else we got over here. Some receiving, miscellaneous 2 points, fumbles, fantasy points. So this would be their fantasy points for that week. And then we've got the week number here. And I believe we have the first 9 weeks of data.
Very nice. Do you mind me asking where you found this data?
Yeah, this is a free Kaggle data set that I found.
Yeah.
Also, everywhere online, any like NFL stat website, you can just copy the tables right offline.
Yeah. Kaggle's great. I always say Kaggle, but KAGGLE.com. We use them a lot. Not a sponsor. We just genuinely like to get data from there.
Yeah. It's probably people scraping the NFL's website anyway. So
yeah, so it's all free to use and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Very
all right,
cool.
Cody. So where should we start with this data?
Right, yeah.
What are some of your first tips and tricks?
All right. So I mean, let's start with a clean slate. So if you want, we can either make that table just super small, or we can just take it out all together. Whatever we want to do.
Get rid of that.
Fair enough. All right. So we got
Here's our field.
Yeah, great. We got a clean playing field here, so to speak. All right. So let's go over some questions on strategically how to beat Jane. Let's see. I want to know, because we had to pick players for fantasy football, so I would like to know maybe just a general list of players and their average points. Maybe by team as well. Maybe when we click on a player, if we can get like detailed stats on that player. So we have like the high overview of, okay, this is their average points or total points, but maybe we want to see the breakdown if it's coming from yards or touchdowns or anything like that. And we can throw some team level data in there, but let's start there.
Yeah.
For now.
All right.
So let's answer those questions first.
So should maybe we start with a simple table of players?
Yeah, let's do that. So we want to know the player, and let's do maybe the team as well.
Okay.
So player, team, positions, probably another good one as well, because we can't have too many of the same position. All right, I think that's good now.
All right, so in my wizard for creating a Vizlib table, I've just added in the player, position, team, and fantasy points. And I think we said we wanted to do this as an average. Is that right?
Yeah, average or something, whatever you think. Whatever thing's going to best help beat Jane.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to beat her week to week, or do we want to, in the long game, in the whole season, beat her? Because maybe if it was week to week, I want to just know like the sum.
Yeah, well, because based on who you're playing from a team perspective, right? When people play harder teams, their average weekly score is going to be lower because they're playing a better team.
That's
so
true.
let's do I don't know. Want to do average then, or sum, right? I forget what would it be. It depends if we're breaking it down by week.
I was gonna say if we throw some filters on there, then maybe we just want. It doesn't really matter, but at a high level view, let's look at the average.
Okay,
fair enough.
Emily, when you start making apps, do you usually like to start with a table so you can see what you're doing and then build off of that? Or do you like to start with design or just start throwing charts in?
I like just throwing charts in and exploring the data is my first thing. So sometimes I think in terms of tables, sometimes I don't. But I think for breaking it down to a player level like this, we really have to see it in a table just to kind of get us started.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. So we've got our table. Let me sort on points. I'll rename this to fantasy points, maybe average fantasy points.
Is TEN Tennessee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what team? What's the Tennessee team?
Titans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Jan, looks like we have a question from Vizlib. Who is your favorite NFL team? Jane, do you want to go first?
The Panthers.
All right. Emily,
Yep.
how about you?
Why didn't you pick a purple team?
I was like, what if someone from North Carolina is like, oh my God, she's not loyal? Yeah.
It's true. You might have some North Carolina followers outside your door after the hour.
Here we go. These are my guys. The New England Patriots.
Is that it? Is that the whole team? I thought there were like 50 people.
Okay, so this is actually the top 200 scorers for the first 9 weeks. So that's
Gotcha.
not everybody on the team.
Okay, makes sense. Did Rob Gronkowski leave?
He retired and then he came back.
Yes.
Okay.
But not at New England. He's down in Tampa Bay in Joe's neck of the woods.
Gotcha. I think he followed, what's
Brady.
Yes, Brady. Yeah. Ooh, Andy. Andy says the Eagles. Okay. Who's the Eagles? I know this.
Philadelphia.
Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, yeah. Joe says Tampa Bay, Champa Bay. What about you, Cody and Emily?
Well, I already did.
Emily's the Patriots. I'm also with Andy. I'm the Eagles.
Very cool. I know it's easy being a Patriots fan because they win so often.
They have their time, their dynasty, yeah.
And Andy will tell you it's not easy being a Philadelphia fan.
Oh, is it? Have they ever won a Super Bowl?
They have, over the New England Patriots most recently, a few years ago.
Oh. Yes.
All right. So, Emily, what are you up to now?
Oh, I was just throwing another table in here.
So what do we want this table? What's our end goal here? So we got player, we got team, we got points. Is this going to be like our detailed?
Yeah, I'm thinking this will be our detail table. So we want like by week.
And then like the miscellaneous points.
Fantasy points.
Andy says you need positions on there as well to get a nice view of what everyone does.
So it looks like we have that in the first table.
We have that in the first table.
Okay, great.
Right, yeah. We can also, that could be a good filter too, if we want to. So I know when I'm picking my fantasy team, you always like to filter on position to see who's the top, left, if they've been drafted or not.
I don't know. Should we get some like rushing yards and receiving yards?
Yeah, because that's always good.
Maybe some touchdowns. Had these guys in.
All right. So that will obviously it'll be blank. So for like rushing touchdowns, if we're looking at quarterbacks, if they don't have any, they could potentially, but like kickers won't normally have any rushing touchdowns, so that will be blank more times than not.
I think this added in as a dimension, and I think I might want to add it as a measure.
Cody, while Emily is organizing all the tables, can you explain to our audience kind of what is fantasy football?
Short version. So really you're in a league, so to speak. So you pick players to be on your team. Players can be, usually you pick one quarterback, a couple wide receivers, a couple at each position. And each week, as they do well actually playing the game, you get points for how many touchdowns they score or anything touchdowns they throw, rushing yards, passing yards, interceptions, those sort of things. So each week you pick players to be on your team. You can either start or sit different players. And you play someone in your league. So if I was playing Emily, it would be her list of players versus my list of players. And if they do better than Emily's players, I would win.
Okay, so you're basically drafting your own team. Are you allowed to switch your team members, within, I don't know, a season?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
okay.
So I mean, there's different nuances and rules depending on which league you're in, all that good stuff. But for the most part, you can go and switch different things. Um, so if I have a player that's hurt or not doing well or anything like that, I can bench them or trade them or anything like that.
Okay, that's good to keep in mind. Does anyone in the audience have any, suggestions on what we should look at, or what you do like to look at when you draft your own fantasy football team? You can just let us know in the comments.
Forgot to add in points.
Do you guys have any funny league names?
So league names and team names are people go really into those for sure. I mean, there's some good creative ones for sure. Some might not be appropriate for happy hour, but people try to keep them pretty fun, pretty cool. All right, Emily, what we got going on over here?
All right, I have a weekly breakdown of the fantasy points, the rushing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards, and touchdowns. And so maybe like we can have some filters in here, or you were talking about doing kind of like a player selection. So as they select their player, they'll drill down into this table and see their weekly stats.
So let's do some filters next. Maybe what kind of filters we were thinking what team. Team and week and position.
Definitely need position in there.
Definitely
so what do you think? Maybe just like a regular Vizlib filter?
Let's do filter for week.
Okay.
And then I think I had an idea for another filter. We can get to that in a second.
Depending on how many positions there are, you could also try the toolbar. And instead of having a drop down, you guys can have a selection instead. How many positions are there in football?
Wow. Individual positions, I can.
You can just custom design.
Yeah.
I know there's quarterback, running back, the tacklers.
There's on offense. From front to back, you have the centers, you have the right and left guard, right and left tackle, tight end, wide receiver, quarterback, running back. That's a high level. Some people have a fullback, which is a type of running back. Hi, Graham.
We have someone named YC who loves the toolbar. Yes, I do too. I think it's nice to be able to condense a lot of filters into one, and it makes it easier to customize because I love to go all out in my apps, all the colors, everything themed out. So that's something I like. Yes, and Vizlib is saying the Vizlib toolbar has just received a bunch of updates, which is true. In the future, we will make an app. We will demonstrate all of the updates, maybe in self-service, because Tiles has some really great updates too.
I was thinking to showcase just one of them after you're done with coloring, Emily.
Just getting that ugly gray out.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to get that out real quick. The other thing too, kind of, I'm big in saving space. So Emily, in the toolbar, on the one that you have filters on, if you go down to interactivity, all the way down, the bottom collapse mode, slide in. So you can actually have it slide in for different positions. So I'm big for people who design dashboards. Sheet real estate is a thing that I think most commonly people get kind of bogged down with. You're found maybe scrolling through different scrolls because your sheet's too long, or you have a full page of filters. That I found really helpful, which is really cool.
I like that.
Yeah, it is important to save space, and it helps, kind of draw your eye to certain places, because you don't want just a bunch of filters on the top, because sometimes that's where my eyes go. And then, yeah, you don't focus on the graphs, which is necessary.
Cody, any ideas on how we can make this team filter a little nicer?
So I did see in your data set you had a team logo. Is that a JPEG or image or anything?
Yeah, that's a link to each of those images.
Okay, so why don't we bring that in as a field instead of team, and we can add that as an image, and let's see what that looks like.
Graham doesn't know U.S. football, so he says his favorite team is the Green Bay Packers.
Random pick from Wikipedia.
Oh, why would you choose the Packers?
Joe says yes. You have a fan.
Oh, wow.
Joe is a fan.
Ooh.
That's cool. So we have each team logo.
See how that looks?
Oh, Josh says boo. Josh, do you have a favorite team?
So I really like that. I really like that because now you have a full selection of the team logos, which is really cool. And Jane for who picks colors now.
I'll teams, know what to.
You can just look at their colors.
I like that orange one, the B.
Where are we at? Oh, yep, Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals. Ooh,
I think that's very catching.
Yes.
Is there a way we could make our tables a little bit more visual?
Yeah, so let's. One of the things I'd like, if anyone is familiar with fantasy football, if they do like ESPN or Yahoo for their fantasy football, it's almost like a full like catalog of the different players, and usually it's like their image. I don't think we have the player image in this data set. I think that would be pretty intense.
Yeah,
to go find hundreds of players' profile pictures. But I mean, we could just use the team instead. So that same data, if we want to just make that table small, so we don't lose that data. We can throw in, Jane, I'm thinking tiles, kind of do like a catalog type of scroll through.
Right,
yeah, so tiles would be great. And then you guys can color. I don't know if there's like a minimum points that someone should score, but you guys can color by like, here, this is good and this is bad points.
Ooh.
Go football.
That would I mean, if we were going to get real technical here, that'll be different positions.
Sure.
Okay.
That would be that would be very interesting.
Okay, so I've got, okay. Tell me more about how to use this, Cody. This is my average fantasy points, and my dimension that I brought in was the player.
Yeah, so we're going to do everything by player. So let's just figure out first kind of what all the data we want on there. So we have fantasy points. We said team, so I kind of like the logo.
Okay.
So let's bring in the logo again. So if we do add under measure and do our logo, and you can just click a aggregation. You'll just have to, or just type in, work around, and then take away the sum. Work around, and then scroll down. So you said that's an image.
Add an only before logo. Oh, just doing logo works. Just kidding. Don't listen to me.
All right, so we have our logo. There you go. What do we have? We have position, right?
Yeah, we need some positions in here.
I wonder if anyone who saw.
Oh, I need the person's name.
That would help. I was going to say, I wonder if anyone who saw. So I'm looking at Graham's comments over here. I wonder if anyone who saw the promotions for this thought we were talking soccer, and they logged on and just logged off. I know. I know we have a lot of soccer fans for Appy Hour.
They're gonna say, "Ew, who says soccer?" And then They all just left. If you click on the little wizard, you can move.
Yeah,
can
so
move
let's
All right,
the
let's
bring some.
Vizlibify this.
Yeah. All right. So how do we want this? So I'm thinking.
So I've got this, line here, and I want to make it look maybe kind of like those web pages where I've got the list of players.
Yeah, it was like the logo on the left, right? It's usually the player's profile picture. We don't have that, so we'll do the team logo. I like that.
We do the player
Yep.
with their position underneath their
Yep,
name.
I like that. That's normally how it is.
Do you guys want to do the new feature where you can flip on command? And you can actually have their points and, their running yards, etc. on the back of the card.
I mean, let's go crazy. Sure.
Cool. We can, you would do that in the KPI designer. So think about what you want on the front of the card, and then we can design the back of the card. I think maybe we only need player, position, and logo, and then we can add all of the extras.
Well, I should keep the points on here because that'll be why I click on the person, is because they're going to get me a lot of points.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So can we do any formatting here? Like my text is really small. I'd love to have like the name be nice and big.
Bold or something.
Yes,
Yeah, so let's go
of course.
into each individual measure on your right-hand side.
Start with player. That'll be an easy one.
My MYC check says add team maybe on the card as well, so you can see maybe you're a diehard fan of a team, or you absolutely don't like a team. No matter how much someone scores, you say no to the Lions or something.
Well, I can just exclude the Lions from my filter. That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got the names nice and big.
Like that. So let's format the points a little bit.
So the points right now, I've got some mismatched, decimal places and whatnot. So I can go into my number formatting. And what would you say for fantasy is a good number of decimal places to have accuracy to?
It depends. I've seen just whole numbers. I've seen down to 2 decimals. So let's do 2.
Let's stick with 2.
So it really depends. The amount of different rules and formats you can have within fantasy are crazy. So we'll keep it simple for the show's sake.
And can I add my label to
just like a text?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to go in and add another measure and add another object. So instead of picking a measure, we'll type in your label.
You could also write with single quotes player and then colon and then the and symbol and then have player.
Yep, shows up there. So go back into your wizard.
So I just added in a small little title for my fantasy points so we can see that that's my average fantasy points.
I like that.
Now I'm finding that I'm getting lost. My tiles here don't really divide Albert from Alan, etc.
That's so like Albert. I would, yeah. So let's do, so it's like, like most tiles, we can add some bordering, some good effects.
Yeah, let's add a border around.
So let's choose where we want those borders. So what we got? We got solid. We'll keep it solid. Radius. Ooh, okay. I'm changing radius, like a little circular. I like it.
You can change the padding so they're not all touching.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That. I like that.
I think that's higher in appearance. We can slowly go down. It's in the dividers, horizontal dividers.
It moved a little bit.
don't think I need that one.
Yeah, no, I like that. So do you want to so we can delete our table below that now that we have all that data, and let's move our tiles object all the way down now. So if we wanted to see more, so it looks like we only see what 3, 6.5 players.
Yeah.
Let's do it like maybe like see at least 10, right? So let's do tiles height.
I do want to say that for people, you can choose the pixels, but you can also choose the number of tiles you see. So it will be dynamic. And you can also, right now we only have one tile per row, but you can also choose how many tiles you want per row if you wanted to have it more vertical.
I like the one tile per row for our fantasy app here.
For this
Yeah.
application, yeah.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, I like that.
Cody, I'm noticing we don't have our players sorted by who my top scorers are.
Yeah, so we definitely want to do that. So let's go down to sorting.
So down in sorting, I can change my player sorting to be an expression. Now I'm sorting based off of the highest number of, and this is total fantasy points. I know I'm showing average right here, so these might not line up. Do we want it to sort on sum or on average?
What do we have in there now?
I'm using sum. So like Travis Kelce scores the most over the first 9 weeks.
Yeah, I like that.
These are my top. And let's see. All right.
All right. So the other thing we mentioned too was, so we got our details table here of what's going on. I would like some type of maybe like, I'm trying to think in my fantasy league, like when you click a player, usually on the right-hand side, like another window pops up and it says like, here's all your detailed information.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking maybe a KPI designer. And we can have it formatted to, once the one player is selected, the KPI designer populates potentially.
Like that?
Yeah. So we can start building this out a little bit.
I'll add my player.
Oh, so you choose the wrong.
I chose a regular simple KPI.
Yeah.
I want the design.
In the library. There we go.
All right, let's make it easy. We'll start with the image.
Okay, I like that. And Emily, one of the things you and I discussed the other day was naming our layers when there's more than one layer or 2 layers, so we don't get confused. The cool thing about the KPI designer is when you click on the layer that you want to edit, it usually brings you to that layer, and the properties on the right-hand side. Joe and I built an NBA app with, I think, 85 different layers. And I didn't do a great job of naming those layers, and they were layer 1, layer 2, all the way up to like 88. So best practice for anyone using the KPI designer. It's always nice to throw some layer descriptions on there. If you
try only logo instead of.
I think it needs to be team logo too. Yeah.
So if you were to pick Travis Kelce, does it show up?
No, because go into tiles, click Viz Tips, and no, you were in the right place.
Well, the reason it's not showing up here is because we have it won't show multiple logos. So I have to
Right.
select my player for it to show their logo.
Yeah, if you add in Viz Tips, what you can do, if you just hover above something instead of clicking into it, it can show everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we did an entire Appy Hour on Viz Tips. It's on YouTube if anyone wants to watch. We go in depth on how to make all things Viz Tips. YC asks, 85 layers. Is there no performance impact? Cody, did you notice?
If anything, it was faster. No, there's no performance impact whatsoever. It's pretty lightweight, which is awesome because it was when the NBA players first start, so you had all 16 teams, wherever it was in there, and it was a lot. So each line of a bracket, if you could visualize a bracket, was an individual layer plus names, logos. So you could filter as if it was a regular dashboard. It was great. It was still very quick. Perfect. I like that.
Okay. So we've got the player, their team logo. What are some stats you want to know about them?
Maybe I'll do overall fantasy points.
Do we want like a chart in here if they're fantasy?
Yeah, let's do a chart by week so we can see if they have any like dips.
Okay.
So Graham is asking, how is fantasy football played? I believe there are leagues, and you choose your players, and you just keep up with their scores, and it kind of automatically chooses a winner and a loser in your league. Is that correct?
Almost, just about. So before the NFL season starts, everyone. So Graham, if you and I were on a team, you would pick players like a fake tea party. Sure. You would pick players, I would pick players, and we would take turns picking players. And each week, when their games are played, if they do well, your points are reflected as such. If they do bad, vice versa. And whoever's team wins at the end of the week wins that week. And you have a full season, so you play all the weeks of the year. All right,
Here's a question for Europeans. Is there such thing as fantasy soccer or fantasy football? I feel like they might like that over there.
All right. Anyway, so what's it? This is points by week, it looks like?
Yeah.
All right. So we got points by week. There's bar chart, and then can we do a line chart too? Or like instead of the bar chart?
Oh, instead, yeah.
Oh, all right. So we can just change it right there. Absolutely.
Select the line chart.
I like that.
It did get rid of my dimension and measure, so I do have to bring those back in.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make more work for you.
Thanks for the explanation. No problem, Graham. So how long does the season last?
So up until this year, typically there's 16 games. So usually playoffs will start for fantasy football, I think, at week like 12 or 13. So it's the whole season lasts about 16 weeks, 16, 17 weeks, depending on the league. This year they increased the games by one. So there's going to be one extra game this year. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure just fantasy football will have just one extra week in it, but I'm not sure.
Gotcha. And it all culminates into the Super Bowl. Is that the goal is to win the Super Bowl?
For the individual league people, yeah, there's first round, second round, and then the championship for fantasy football. So usually people have trophies. There's actually a famous fantasy league. I think they're featured on ESPN a lot. They're famous for the loser who comes in last place every year has to get a tattoo.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think they were featured on ESPN a few times. Yeah.
Don't
it's
sign me
pretty-
up for that league.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's like you don't necessarily have to win; you just don't have to come in last.
That's intense. Have you guys seen The League?
I have not. I've heard of it.
Yeah, Joe was asking the same question. Thoughts on the show The League? I've watched that show. I think it's pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
I'm a fan of Nick Kroll.
But also, I mean, who's that ridiculous about their fantasy football league?
Jane is.
Yeah. It's because I keep winning, so there's nothing to really do, you know? I just sit back and win.
Anyway, I like how you layered the points overlaying.
Well, this is an area chart, so I just felt the need to tell the user what that total was.
I like that. It's almost like adding a visual title without actually adding a title. That's really
Yeah.
Maybe we can ask the audience, what color do you guys think the area chart should be? What would look good? Or maybe we can keep it purple.
Or we'll get into a debate on whether or not that's purple or blue.
Yeah, it's definitely purple. There is no debate.
Yeah, I really like that. Pink. Why?
I don't know.
Says pink.
I think I could do some green here. Or does that blend in too much?
No, I don't mind that. Although someone called in and said they wanted a pink area chart, so
Yeah.
we have to listen to our users.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
We can try a pink one. That might look nice. Yeah, pink and green. Good combination.
There's a nice magenta.
I like that. We need Greta back on to get our colors
Yeah.
situated.
Yeah.
I like the pink.
Okay. And then how about maybe we look at touchdowns on here.
Okay, yeah.
We'll call that good. So, I don't know. Do we need...
And while Emily's building that, suggestions from our audience? Anything that you would like to see? Any type of chart? We have, team in here. We have, some metrics of yardage and scores and points, weeks. So we'll take suggestions here as well. Maybe a Sankey. I don't think it makes sense in this use case, but they're always fun to look at.
Maybe yardage. Or do you have injuries on there?
We don't.
We do not have injury data.
Do we have? Do we have bye week?
No, but I was gonna quiz Jane.
Let's see the quiz.
Jane, do you know why Travis Kelce has 0 points in week 9?
Is it because he's a kicker? So he doesn't score? No, kickers score point. Is he someone who doesn't score points?
He is like the top scoring fantasy football player.
Okay. Is he injured?
He, in the future, in week 9, is already injured.
So no.
Oh, it's not even week 9 yet. Is that it?
So it's.
This is a really good quiz. This is bye week.
Oh, I don't know what that is. You guys I thought bye week was just every 2 weeks, like a bi-weekly.
Like bi-weekly.
But in football, you guys shorten it. You guys are too cool to say bi-weekly, just bi-week.
Well, I'm glad that we've clarified this.
Progression bar to see season completion. Yes, because
awesome.
I don't know how many. I don't know anything about weeks, seasons. This would be helpful to me.
So this would be really cool. That the progression bar would really be cool if we were like a few weeks into it, because then we could compare, projected points versus like actual points too, and see the progression of how close we are to that projected number. Graham says a scatter or heat map.
Oh yeah, like of all the weeks and then versus all the teams, and a layered area chart for projected versus actual.
Yeah,
Don't
so
have actual data, so that would be super awesome when we have some actuals.
So what is bye week? Does that just mean they're
a bye week just means they're not playing that week, so they're off.
oh, do they get to choose their bye weeks or do they have to?
They do not. That's predetermined.
Oh. How many bye weeks do players have to have every season?
So each team gets one bye week.
Oh, each team gets one, so it's a whole team that doesn't play. Gotcha. Okay.
Joe had a good suggestion. Graham, your suggestion was good too. But logos on a scatter plot. So that'd be cool because we have a lot of measures.
All right.
So let's do that. I like that.
Yeah, maybe like running yards versus points. I used to do marching band, but I did not take in anything in football because I would just sit and then we'd talk.
Did you watch the games when you guys weren't
Not
playing?
even a little bit.
See, I was the opposite way. I never got to see the marching band because I was playing.
Yeah, and then you guys probably had a break while we were out doing our thing on the field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually it was halftime for my high school.
Yeah, and you guys were probably resting. What position did you play, Cody, in college?
I was a quarterback.
Oh, very cool. So you threw the ball?
Among other things, yes.
Do you tackle?
No.
Or do you get tackled?
No to both.
Oh, okay.
No, so quarterbacks are on offense, so offensive players don't do the tackling.
Gotcha. Blitz.
That's
You guys
defense.
blitz.
Blitz, that's defense, yes. The quarterbacks have to deal with the blitzes.
Is a blitz when they just all come together and just I don't know.
In simple terms, it's when the defense, it's a type of play or thing that defense does. Usually they send a lot of people at the offensive line, at the quarterback. I think that's the simplest I can put that without getting too complicated.
All right, I'm going to clear my filter for a second so you can see this scatter plot that I've just made.
Ooh,
so I have
okay.
a scatter plot of fantasy points across the bottom and then the sum of rushing plus receiving yards, so the total yardage for that player.
Can you do just make it full screen? Just right click and expand? Or
Who are all the players that don't really run but score a lot of points?
it's probably the wide receivers.
Okay.
Or
So
quarterbacks.
Or quarterbacks. Yep.
Oh, here's a question. Kicker. Oh, yeah. Josh was about to ask kickers. Does every team have a dedicated kicker, or do they just nominate someone to go and kick the ball?
No, they are predetermined as well.
So this person's job is just to sit and
kick
wait.
The ball. Correct.
Wow, what a good job.
But championships are won and lost by kickers, so they are very important.
That could be like a soccer player's like part-time job. They're like, yep, on break, need something to do.
A lot of the kickers I know in high school and college also played soccer. So it does translate. Yep.
Oh, they are normally soccer. Could you imagine if Cristiano just was like, yep, I'm kicking for the Patriots now?
The Eagles had Zach Ertz, the tight end. His wife is on the USA women's soccer team. I forget who they had out. There was someone on the women's soccer team. They had her trying out to be a kicker for the Eagles, and she was making some field goals, which was pretty cool.
Wow. How many yards do they have to kick?
It depends. I would say, Emily, what do you think? Averages between like 30 and 40, 45 yards on average.
Yeah, like the long top ones like push 50.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever stood on a field and thought, I could do that, and then you actually kick the ball and you're like, oh no. You're like, oh, that was only 5 yards.
Although, fun fact, when I was a kid, I did want to play on the football team. I thought it'd be a really good wide receiver.
Carly Lloyd. I think that's the kicker.
Yep, that's it.
Oh yeah, we should make a visualization. Yeah, we could show all of the crossovers, all the different sports everyone plays.
And for dimension here, I think it was Joe mentioned the individual dots instead of being colored bubbles. We should change the dimension to the team logo.
Okay, so how do I do this here?
So in data, instead of player, we'll do team. Right? Or no, we can do.
Can I leave it as player and add the logo for each player?
Yes, if you go in player, into player, scroll down, or scroll up, and up the markers. And Jane, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm going down the path that I shouldn't be. Yep, I think that should be it. Maybe, potentially.
Yeah.
Whoa. All right. We might have to zoom in a bunch. Look at that. That's cool.
Poppy Landia has a question about fantasy football. Oh, regarding his fantasy. Yeah, go for it.
What happened? Oh, there they are.
Wow.
Why don't we select just that clump in the bottom right? Can we do a lasso tool on that? Yeah, just select those bottom ones so we can zoom in a little bit. And just click off screen somewhere. Come on. There we go. That's pretty cool.
Ooh, the Tigers aren't doing well. What's that one? Is that Texas?
Over here?
Yep.
Yes. Texas.
Tigers?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Tigers.
No.
Josh said Tigers or baseball. This is actually good. So why don't we zoom out again, and we'll say, Emily, for your team, you want to only choose players above certain thresholds, right? So you only want people in certain quadrants, right?
Yeah.
So let's add some reference lines here.
Okay.
Someone's asking, I need two. Who would you guys start between T. Higgins, Robert Woods, and Terry McLaren?
Jane, you want to answer that one? Or you want
Yeah, sure. I'd start T. Higgins.
do you have a reason for that or no?
Fun name, T. Higgins. I'm sure
T.
this
Higgins.
guy's like a relaxed person. Just how you can't not be relaxed if your name's T. So I'm sure he's like loose on the field too, just dodging everyone. So yeah, go with T. What about you guys?
I would have to go with Robert Woods and T. Higgins as well, Jane, for a couple of different reasons. Robert Woods, because the Rams offense is looking really good this year with the new quarterback. And the Washington football team is on their backup quarterback, so I wouldn't choose Terry.
Can we see them? Can we pull them up and see?
Yeah, we can search for a player.
Let's add a player filter here real quick.
Hopefully that made sense for who asked that question.
Emily, any thoughts?
I'm not up on my fantasy stats this year, so I'm going to say whatever the dashboard says.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's choose those three people. So I think not all in here.
This might be too far down in the players.
I think you have to search their full name. So TEE.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, because I don't have a wild card.
The fuzzy search. The other one was Terry, the Robert Wood, and then the bottom one. So there you go.
I guess T. Higgins is doing the best.
All because Jane picked him.
Yeah. What can I say? I pick a really good
Jane
team.
was right.
Well, let's see who tops the charts on week 1. Because that's just their averages.
Yes.
So we don't have like, oh, this would be really cool if we could get super serious and make, like a comparison, like pick 2 players and compare their stats. That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
Populandia says, thanks for the help. No problem.
Jackie Daytona. How
Yeah,
did
but if
she
you're going
know?
for the long game, looks like T. Higgins is your player.
Yep. Not by much though. That's not a lot in fantasy terms. That's a catch or two.
Nice. So here's like our, pick a player, drill down into the info.
Yep.
We get their table.
So
If we really, if we're struggling, if our quarterback gets injured, we can just like search by quarterback.
Yeah. So we only have 3 minutes left ish. So let's kind of revisit our questions a little bit.
Yeah.
So to beat Jane, we wanted to be able to filter on weak team and position and have a full rundown of a player catalog to see who's the best one. I think we've captured that. Because if we wanted to choose, like you just did, we want to see, maybe my quarterback in week 5 has a bye week. So we want to see the top quarterbacks in week 5.
Trying to get these so we can actually see them real quick. That did not help.
Right, it's week 5 quarterbacks. Say our quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, so we have to pick someone else. Lamar Jackson's taken because Jane liked the color purple. Aaron Rodgers.
That's why she's beating us.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers was staying up playing with too much Vizlib before week 1, so he did really bad. So let's do Kyler Murray. Let's pick him. Let's see what his stats are like. We might have to move down our KPI designer. I like that. I love how we use so I was actually, it's funny, we were kind of both playing it out at different times, but I was looking at the tiles on the left to pick a player. You were actually using the scatter plot.
Yeah.
To pick a player. So I didn't think about that. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Oh, it's okay. Someone said they missed this Appy Hour. We'll post this on YouTube. It will be on Facebook, and you can watch it for 2 weeks on Twitch. So no worries. It's all things American football. They educate me on football. I don't know anything about football.
But Jane, it is nice. Go ahead.
Joe says Rodgers is his.
He can have them.
Oh, you can't pick the same players. You can't. Okay.
No.
I see.
Jane, anything else you'd do for our dashboard here? Do you think we're going to beat you now?
I think we captured a good story.
I think you guys captured a good story. I'm scared. I need to go update my lineup. But T. Higgins is mine. So
no cheating.
Yeah, back off on T. Higgins, guys. Yeah, I like this. Well, next time we can show how to flip cards. We're out of time today, but yes, next time we'll show how we can flip the tiles so that KPI designer can just be behind the tiles, and we can save even more space this way. Awesome. Joe wants me on his league. Is it because I don't know any of the players? Do you think I'll lose?
Good stuff. Well, Jane, thanks for having us on.
yeah, this was really fun. Thanks for coming on, guys. It's been a great Appy Hour. Everyone can close their tabs now because Appy Hour is officially closed, but cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Yeah.